Okay, in this video I want to take a look at parallel lines and angles that are formed by transversals. This is the transversal. And remember, Landon, we talked about this is the symbol for parallel lines. And angles are either equal to each other or they add up to 180 degrees. So you can see that 180 degrees is a recurring theme in geometry. We saw it with straight angles, we saw it with the angles in a triangle, and now we're seeing it again here. So just keep that in mind. It's a very common theme in geometry. I want to remind you just that parallel lines are everywhere, and we have all these different kinds of angles. So I'm pointing out again here the transversal. And I basically, whenever I have two parallel lines and a transversal, I have 8 angles. But there's only 2 numbers that will fit into this whole thing. Either they're equal to each other or they add up to 180. So you can see the angle 1 and 2 are straight angles. So they're going to add up to 180. So it's kind of like tic-tac-toe. 1, 3, 5, and 7. Now let me go back here. 1, 3, 5, 7 are all equal to each other. Notice that those are the skinnier angles. And I am kind of playing tic-tac-toe with that. I'm kind of going diagonally, jumping over. And in like manner, 2, 4, 6, 8 in this case are going to be equal as well. So oftentimes you can tell by looking at them which ones are equal. See how this is playing tic-tac-toe again? These are all the bigger angles. So you have to take a look at what you've been given to see, are they equal or are they not equal, basically. If they're not equal, they add up to 180. Well, these 2 angles right here, if you look at them, these are called corresponding angles. They correspond with each other. And look at the angle. You will see that they are pretty much equal. So we're going to see how that works on this map. See how 1 and 5 are equal to each other. So we would set them equal to each other and solve it. Okay? So again, doesn't matter where we start here. What you may want to do is start with any negatives. Because when you inverse a negative, you get a positive and it makes cleans things up a little bit. Okay, in this case, we want to pull the x's over to one side, so I'm going to subtract 7x and then divide by 2. And x is equal to 10, which means that this angle right here is 9 times 10 minus 7, which is 83 degrees. All right, here's another one. Now let's take a look at this one. Notice how you had to play tic-tac-toe with that one. You're going across like that. Okay, so those are also equal. And so I set them equal to each other. Doesn't matter where I start. Once again, you might want to start with negatives. And then we want to bring the x's over to the left-hand side, so I'll remove them from the right by subtracting. And then divide by 2, and x is equal to 4. All right? Look at these. Do they look equal, or do they look like they're not equal? Okay? Notice that they are diagonal from each other. Remember, these are called vertical angles. And all vertical angles are equal. So there you go. Don't have any negatives this time. So the suggestion here would be to start with low positives. Low positives or high negatives. Or the lower of the 2 x's. It doesn't matter. It looks like that's where I started. It kept things positive. And then when I remove this 1 from the left, I get my answer, x equals 3. So I could plug those into those equations, and I'm going to get 100 degrees, which means that the angle sitting next to it, right here, is 80. Because remember, they're either going to equal each other or they're going to add up to 180. All right, and here's my last one. And it looks like these are also equal to each other. Notice how I played that little tic-tac-toe. Or just by looking at them, I saw that we had the bigger angle here, the little angle here. This is big, and so is this. So I'm set those equal to each other. And again, there's my only negative, and sometimes that's the best place to start. Remove it off the right. And now you got to pull these x's to one side. So you're going to remove these off the left. And then you can divide by 2 and you'll have your answer. And that concludes this lesson. Give it a try. Give it a try. I know this is tricky. You have to figure out which ones are equal and which ones add up to 180, but I believe you can do it. You got it in you, Landon. Give it a shot.